Welcome to the Miami Herald Business Show. I'm Niala Boodhoo. Fort Lauderdale lawyer Scott Rothstein's alleged investor scam could turn out to be one of the biggest fraud cases in Florida history, a $1 billion-plus scheme. Rothstein has been accused of stealing hundreds of millions of dollars from investors who bought legal settlements from him. Whether it's Rothstein or Bernie Madoff, even the most sophisticated investors have been duped. So the question today is, how can you protect yourself? Ken Springer is someone who can answer that question. He's a former FBI special agent who spent decades uncovering investment fraud, and now he has his own company, Corporate Resolutions, Inc. Ken, tell me, we've seen all of these schemes. Do you think this means that investors are becoming more savvy, or do you think it just means that the fraud's going to become more complex?
Hopefully people are getting the message that before they invest, they need to do an adequate amount of homework. And I think from a lot of the periodicals out there, people are learning that there's regulatory information available, such as the ADV forms with the SEC, through FINRA, which is the old NASD. Tremendous amounts of information can be gleaned to make sure that your investment advisor or money manager is licensed, whether they've been disciplined by regulatory bodies. And also some of the questions you should ask are, be clear and ask them. They should answer the questions whether or not, who's holding their money? Do they have an independent custodian? Ask to talk to that person to verify that. You know, it's the old President Reagan, trust but verify. You can even ask if they've been involved in lawsuits. There's a lot of public information. For instance, the county courthouse in Miami, I think it's miami-dadeclerk.com.
So you think a pattern of lawsuits might indicate fraud. What are some other red flags?
Well, you don't always find fraud, but I think it's the indicators, the problematic patterns of lawsuits. I think the biggest things that we find are material non-disclosure. It's not what they tell you, it's what they don't tell you. And the other thing is the lawsuits. Do they sue former employers, lenders, investors, and others? Or conversely, are they continually sued for mismanagement, fraud, breach of contract, even sexual harassment? Those are some of the indicators you should look at. Not whether it's been settled or not, because if they're smart, they'll settle them out of court and won't go to judgment. But look at the problematic patterns. If someone else sued them, or they sued someone, what makes you think that you won't be sued next?
It seems that every time we hear about this new Ponzi scheme, the numbers just keep getting bigger. Do you think this is something that's going to get worse?
Well, unfortunately, as I think Warren Buffett said, when the tide goes out, you see who's swimming without shorts or trunks. And right now, we have a bad economy and people aren't putting money in, so we're seeing more schemes uncovered. It's not that they just started last year. Some of these have been, obviously, as we can see, they've been going on for 20 or 30 years. Unfortunately, we may see some more. And I think it's important that the general public talk to the attorney, call the Attorney General's office, talk to the regulators, the FBI or whomever, to report fraud, because that's how many of these get uncovered. And the sooner we catch it, the less money will be victimized.
Thanks for watching. For the Miami Herald Business Show, I'm Niala Boodhoo.